Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be covering an article from Bounding into Comics today, discussing a subject that is very sensitive on YouTube, so I'll have to tread lightly in my wording and the way that I present it so they don't age restrict my video, which is insane considering we're trying to bring bad things that people are doing under the guise of, oh, well, we work for this company, so ba. And it's sick, but we're going to talk about it, so let's get into the video, shall we? We're over here at Bounding into Comics, and I can't even properly say the title of the article without them age restricting the video, and I'm not joking. As Disney continues its animal bathing enthusiasm agenda at its Star Wars celebration, ABC News producer arrested for having, you can read the title, I'm not even allowed to say it. This is somebody who is under the umbrella of Disney, because Disney owns ABC, owns ESPN, and this guy's a producer for ABC. They knowingly had somebody like this working for them, ladies and gentlemen, and I guarantee you somebody along the lines knew that this guy was a creep and was a criminal, but nobody said anything. This dropped yesterday from Josh Berger over at Bounding into Comics. While Disney parades their animal bathing enthusiasm agenda at Star Wars Celebration with their recently approved drag panel titled Star Wars is a Drag, Exploring Star Wars Through the Art of Drag, former ABC News producer James Gordon Meek has been arrested for having illicit material featuring minors. That's right, he has been arrested for having illicit materials featuring minors, which is disgusting. It is reprehensible, and there is no cure for people like this. He's going to be on a list the rest of his life, and he's not going to be allowed to go near schools or kids. These people are disgusting. And these are employed by a family company. A family company. You wonder why I've kind of turned my back on all this stuff. And I don't really want to talk about anything Disney anymore. Anything Star Wars that's new, anything Marvel. I don't want to talk about that shit because these are the kind of people that they employ at their company, and it's sick. In having a drag panel at Star Wars Celebration where there is bound to be kids, come on. You cannot sit there and I know there's these weirdos on Twitter because I deal with them every day, and I'm done responding to them because it's a time suck, because you're talking about people that have no lives other than living on Twitter. And they defend these drag shows. Well, how many priests? How many? And they want to boil it down to political stances. It's not political. We're talking about protecting kids and their innocence. Children do not need to see grown men in dresses and put dollar bills, and that's disgusting. If you as an adult want to go watch that, that's fine. I don't care. But drag queen story hour at libraries and schools, and come on. If you have to say, well, we need to normalize, if you have to quote unquote normalize something, it's not right to begin with. It's not right to begin with. And I don't mean gay marriage. I don't mean that at all, because I feel that if you're an adult and you're two consenting adults, you should be able to get married. Absolutely. If you want to be just as miserable as the rest of us that are married, then you should be entitled to that too. And child support and alimony and all those fun things, that's what you should be entitled to too. Equality, folks. Not equity, because equity is a bullshit garbage concept. Equality. True equality. According to a statement from the Department of Justice, Meek was arrested on the night of January 31st for alleged possession of multiple devices that allegedly contained evidence of the transportation of images of illicit materials featuring minors. That's what I'll say. All of which were subsequently seized by law enforcement. These materials and devices were obtained after the FBI Washington Field Office's Child Exploitation and Human Trafficking Task Force executed a search of the former ABC News producer's residence in Arlington, Virginia in April of 2022. And they say former because Disney has probably let him go in the wake of his arrest. And they're not allegations. That's why I say alleged. They found the materials in his house. Those are his. You're not going to say, oh, it's my friend, you left it here. Like if you're a teenager getting caught with pot, that's ridiculous. Nobody's buying that. Meek's seized devices reportedly contain images, horrible, disgusting, vile images is what the wording I'm going to choose to use here, including minor children, and several chat conversations described as disgusting. which included participants who expressed enthusiasm for disgusting things. And this is, as a parent and in a part-time educator, this is difficult. It is. I just, when I hear stuff like this, it's like, because as a parent, your job is to protect and educate your child. And if you're out there and you're a parent and you don't think that protecting and educating, especially educating your child, is your job, you're not a very good parent. I'm sorry. The school's job is not to educate and raise your child. You raise and educate your children or your child. You do that. As a parent, that is your damn job, to educate and raise your children. The school is supposed to facilitate their ability to learn, present them with information. You teach them. That's your job. That's not the school job. It's not the state's job. It's not the village's job. It's your job. You're responsible for the life you bring into this world. And if you're not responsible for that, if you throw your hands up and act like it's not your responsibility, it's too difficult, then you have some serious introspection to do. So anything that I see like this, that damages the innocence and hurts kids, as a normal, functioning, good person, that is disgusting to me. That is absolutely disgusting and reprehensible. And these people do not deserve, I'm sorry, there are certain kinds of criminals that don't deserve due process, and these are those. I know what you're saying, false allegations. They found all the materials at this guy's house right there. Expedite that trial. Expedite it. And let's just get down to the he's done the crime. Let's just get down to the punishment phase of this. And these people, being as my degree is in criminal justice with a focus on corrections, this is one area of expertise I have. These people do not do well when they are introduced into general population in prisons, because a large contingency of prisoners that are incarcerated for long periods of time have kids on the outside and have wives and families. And they're thinking, what if this disgusting, vile piece of garbage did this to my child? So they don't last long on the inside when they're introduced into general population. And that's all I'm going to say. Statistically proven, folks. And that, my friends, is the garbage taking itself out as far as I'm concerned. In two of those conversations, a username allegedly associated with Meek received and distributed the material, the disgusting, vile material, through an internet-based messaging platform stated by the Department of Justice. According to the court documents, the investigation into Meek was initiated from an investigative lead sent by Dropbox and ultimately received by the FBI's Washington Field Office's Child Exploitation and Human Trafficking Task Force. Were he to be convicted, Meek risks a minimum of 5 years and up to 20 years in prison for possession and transportation of the disgusting, vile materials, which 5 years is not enough. 5 years is not enough. It's not. 20 years isn't enough. Why does he deserve to be free after this? Why does he deserve to be free to walk among normal, functioning human beings? Why? Tell me that. And I know the cost of incarceration per inmate for 3 hots and a cot for that period of time. That's why I say we have alternative punishments. And I don't mean capital punishment, which I am in favor of for heinous crimes such as that. But why not go back to the chain gang? If you're in there, earn your keep. Put shackles on their ankles and make the dude go out and bust rocks or something like that. Hard labor. Why not? You forfeited your rights. As a criminal, you forfeit your rights to be part of normal society. You have violated somebody in a violent way, or you have committed a crime or offense that is serious enough that you are not incarcerated at a local level, which is 1 day to a year in county. Above that, you're going to prison. So why? I understand they need basic rights. Prisoners should have basic rights, but you don't get to complain about your conditions. You don't get, these conditions are bad. Oh, well, if you're a murderer and you're complaining about your food or your shelter, you should seriously be quiet. If you're one of these disgusting people who violates the innocence of children, you should sit down, shut up, and take whatever they give you. If you have to eat dirt 3 meals a day, you eat that dirt and you shut your mouth because you're disgusting and you don't deserve a meal. I have very little concern for these folks once they're incarcerated. It's you throw him in the lion's den and see what happens to him. Prior to his arrest on Tuesday, Meek was believed to have been missing, disappearing in April after FBI officials first raided his home. At the time, Rolling Stone speculated the raid was linked to his work as a journalist. However, Meek's lawyer, Eugene Gorakov, replied to these claims. Mr. Meek is unaware of what allegations anonymous sources are making about his possession of classified documents. If such documents exist as claimed, this would be in the scope of his long career as an investigative journalist covering government wrongdoing. So now the attorney's trying to say he's being framed. He works for ABC. They're not, the government isn't framing people who work for ABC, trust me. ABC toes the line as well as any of these other news organizations. The allegations in your inquiry are troubling for a different reason. They appear to come from a source inside the government, Gorakov added. It is highly inappropriate and illegal for individuals in government to leak information about an ongoing investigation. We hope the Department of Justice promptly investigates the source of this leak. The Daily Beast reported ABC News staffers were baffled to find out about the raid, noting that Meek had resigned from the network on April 27th of 2022 via email the same day the FBI's raid took place. According to people familiar with the situation, the former producer listed personal reasons as the cause of his resignation, telling friends his decision was to save colleagues in the company from any embarrassment. Okay, I said earlier they probably fired him in the wake of the allegations. He resigned before, but the day of the raid. Okay, so during his tenure as a producer, Meek oversaw production of Nightline, Late Evening News, Investigative Show 2020, Las Vegas Shooting Special Report. That was from 2017. And I was actually by the location that happened. That was the South by Southwest Music Festival, Country Music Festival, I believe. And more recently, 3212, unredacted documentary sharing producer credits with Brian Epstein. This is very difficult to cover and have to toe this fine line of how I talk about this because of YouTube. And this is why I dislike attorneys. I do. I have a general distrust for attorneys. And I have an attorney or two in my family. And I don't trust them for the most part. I don't, because they'll defend people like this. And they do it for money. This isn't on principle. Let's be honest. This attorney's trying to say he's being framed by the government now. So I don't know, folks. I think it's disgusting. I'm not going to take this guy's side or defend him at all. May he rot in a cell for the maximum allowed by law and then some. But leave your thoughts in the comments below, folks. Trust me, we got a great show coming up tonight. Wonderful guest. So join us at 8:30 Eastern for Holy Shit News. And then stick around if you're a channel member afterwards for the members only stream with myself, CJP, Soldier Spirit, and our guest. I'm Itepokuian from The Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of you. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Self-high five.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
I could do this all.
This doesn't bode well.
You're lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
a waste of good suffering.